Hey my friends, it took a while, but I have finally arrived at Qwen Image with the help of the new 4-step Lightning LoRa. But let me start at the beginning. For those who don't know yet, Qwen Image is an AI model to generate images comparable with Flux or Midjourney, and it is open source. And there are Qwen templates in ComfyUI to find. Let's go to the workflow templates. Let's search for Qwen. And the one that I want to talk about is first this one here, Qwen Image. First thing to do, I have no idea why this is so odd. Let's put this down, 1024, not 1200. This one. So that we have the same size. And let's use the same prompt everywhere. And now let's run this and have a look how long it takes. Well, that's a bit more than 2 minutes. This can vary. I had even a result with 215 seconds, close to 5 minutes. Now let's do the same with Flux. This is browse templates, Flux Dev. Is still my favorite. Where is it? Where's my Flux Dev? Here it is. And let's type in the prompt. Size fits, go. Yeah, that's quite a bit faster, just 60 seconds. And when we have a look at the result, it is a completely different image. Completely different. And this is why I preferred Flux. But there is a Lightning LoRa. Let's go back to the Qwen Image workflow. We have a Lightning LoRa. This promises to speed things up. Let's activate it. Bypass off. And then make sure this is an 8-step LoRa, and so we need to go down to 8 steps, which we do. Now let's run this with the LoRa. Yeah, still slower than Flux. Nearly 80 seconds. And look at the result. There is nothing left of detail. This is pure flat shaded now. Compared to this version, it has lost lots of detail. And is of course a completely different image than this one from Flux. That was the point where I formally continued with Flux. Qwen in Flux reacts completely different to the prompt keywords. And I liked the result from Flux simply better. It was closer to what I wanted to achieve. Well, at least most of the times. And then I discovered this Qwen workflow here with a 4-step LoRa. Here it is. 4 steps. This didn't really work. Let's try it again. Drop it again. Here's the workflow. Here we are. 4 steps. And this one is the game changer. We have still the quality problem from above. Qwen simply generates other images than Flux. But the generation time then convinced me. Let's run it. You can watch it happen. It is really fast. We are down to around 20 seconds for one image. And this is what dragged me back to Qwen then. Not for everything, I think I will still stick with Flux for some styles. I also toy around with High Dream from time to time, but for now I work with Qwen. As you can see, this is really, really fast. The generation itself, 13 seconds, and here we are. A bit more than, 30 seconds. But still very fast. And we have here nearly the same quality than in the first Qwen image generation without the LoRa. And this is what I wanted to talk about next, because this is because of the sampler and the scheduler. The first Qwen image workflow uses Euler and Simple. And this results with the LoRa then with this flat shaded comic style. When I change this back, or change it to another sampler and another scheduler, like here, then I get a somehow closer result to this. You can of course use this to your advance, because now we have the same prompt and just a few values different with 3 completely different results. So when you want it more simple, then use the Euler sampler, and when you want it more detailed, then you use the DPM sampler. As another note, Qwen tends to stick to the same pose and image composition even when the seed completely changes. In Flux, you get a variety of images. In Qwen, you will have relative equal images, like this one here. It will not change this dramatically. Let's render Flux again with a different seed to show what I mean. Here we go. This is quite different from this image. These are somehow equal. And this means in Flux it doesn't stick so much to the prompt. It has more artistic freedom. And Qwen, you need to change the prompt then. The seed doesn't make this big difference. The workflow itself is as simple as it can be. You load the models. Where we are, here we are. You load the models here. Here at the left you can see the hierarchy where the models belongs, where you need to download this. This is the links. Then you adjust the size and type in the prompt and hit run. As a note, in Qwen you can work with negative prompts, while in Flux you can't. So another plus for Qwen. We already talked about the sampler. Another config value can play a role here, but the current value is just fine. The download includes another goodie. I have made this workflow multi-prompt able so that you can execute several prompts at once. Let me drag it in. This one here. It is basically the same, just that we can add here multiple prompts at once and run it with one click. You can paste in your prompts here, or you can define a file. A single line is one prompt. Very important, make sure that this value here is always at 0 before you start the run. It numbers the prompts here, and when you let it run through, then the last prompt is active, and we don't want to generate dozens of images with the last prompt, but we want to start at prompt 1. And of course, make sure that the number of runs is equal to the number of prompts that you have here. I suggest to let it run once. Then you can see here number of lines, number of runs. And then you can type in this value here into the number of runs. Set this back to 0, and then it goes through the list. This here is a bit different. I have implemented an extra text box just for the style and then the single prompt. So the style here is valid for all of these images. That was that. On with generating some images. Have fun!